Hey sis, each month inside Entrusted Women University, we feature a brand new interview. You can watch the full interview only in Entrusted Women University, but you can check out this snippet right now. Hey, Entrusted Women, how you doing? I hope you are doing well. I'm so excited to have a new friend to some, and I may be she may not be new to others, but I am with Leah Frazier. Leah, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, child. Tired but good.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. So let me share with you a little bit about Leah's background. She's a publicist, and who don't need publicists if you out here writing books? Everybody needs a publicist of some sort. Even if I know somebody who created a course called Be Your Own Publicist, but you still got a publicist, even if you are your publicist. So we're gonna get into all the things. Let me tell you about Leah. Leah Frazier is an Emmy award-winning entrepreneur, attorney, and best-selling author. She was named as one of the top 10 most inspiring Black women in marketing and communications to follow in the U.S., as well as one of the DCEO magazine's most powerful leaders in North Texas. Shout out to my hometown. She is the CEO of Think3 Media, which provides marketing and communication services for innovative businesses and brands. Her work has been highlighted both locally and nationally as a go-to source. In her free time, Leah is a certified meditation instructor and can be found leading classes at Breathe Meditation and Wellness in Highland Park. So she can get you booked, and then if you're stressed out from all your bookings, she can help you relax too. That's,
Absolutely. You
yeah,
gotta have both. You gotta have both.
that's like two in one, a two for one.
You have to have both.
Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's just talk about how you got started in this business. Like, how does one become a publicist?
Yeah, there's many ways. If you talk to some, they have a career in journalism, or maybe they got their degree in broadcast journalism, but I did not. I'm actually a former attorney. And as I was practicing law at the time, I was out in Houston. I'm actually from Dallas, and I started working at a private practice in Houston, and I just started a fashion business on the side, and it really took off. And so I got into fashion journalism to try to support what I was doing, and became a fashion reporter. It was just the whole thing is just bizarre. And as I was doing fashion reporting, this publicist found me. She was based out of Dallas, and she said, "Hey, I need someone to do a style segment for my client in Houston on TV." And when I Google Houston fashion reporters, your name comes up. So, do you think you can do some
Wow.
TV for me? And I was like, I had never done TV before. And mind you, I'm still a full time attorney at the time. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so we met, and she literally gave me some instant media training. And that's how my career in journalism took off. I did 3 segments on one day. And then when I moved back to Dallas, I was doing Good Morning Texas. And so
Wow.
I ended up at that point in time as a fashion journalist. I ended up racking up all these contacts, editors, news anchors, producers. You get to know there wasn't really influencers back then, but when we did get into that era, all the influencers, we were always at the same events. But I noticed that the, I guess, the problem was like there was a lot of brands and retailers and even small businesses that wanted access to this group of people. They just didn't know how to get in contact with them, and they didn't know how to do outreach. And I was like, why don't I just do this for you? They're all my friends. So
Wow.
I decided to leave law and start out on my own, and started Think3 Media 10 years ago. And just based off of that, like, here's a contact list of all my people. And I had friends that were publicists, and I just used what I was used to working with them, what I liked to build my business, and then formally learned the business along the way. And here we are 10 years later, expanding outside of fashion. To your point,
Yeah.
we help authors, thought leaders, nonprofit organizations, restaurants. Uh, we've done city projects and government projects and social justice. And so it's just been an awesome, awesome 10 years. And I look forward to hopefully another decade in this business.
Yeah, that is so amazing, and it's crazy how in life, when you're in your 20s, you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and you don't really know what you're gonna do. Some people stay with their careers because, like, I'm trained to be a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and how I don't even know how I would have been able to tell myself this is what you're actually gonna do. So
Right.
that's an amazing story. So let's talk about some of these terms that we toss around. We toss around marketing and publicity. What is the difference between those two terms?
Yeah, I always have this discussion with folks because I'm like, look, if you hire a publicist, you don't have your marketing together, please don't cuss us out. Just please. It's not our fault. It's not our fault
Yeah,
because they are two separate functions, but they work together. So the way I kind of explain it all the time is like it's a nice little peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And let's just pretend you like both peanut butter and a nice helping of jelly, okay? Because some people, oh, I just want peanut butter. Well, today you like both. So marketing is going to be your peanut butter, and PR is going to be your jelly. And when you mesh them all together, they make one nice ooey gooey, just amazing sandwich. You can't have one without the other. And so marketing is going to be that process by which you're thinking about how am I acquiring my customer, or in the terms of an author, like how am I acquiring the reader and then taking them on this journey to the point that they either buy my book from me, or if they buy my book from me, is there a course or a workshop or some other product or service that I offer that I then funnel them into to turn them into a customer, and that exchange of cash. So that's marketing. The role of a publicist is for us to get the eyeballs on you, your
right.
brand, your
Mhm.
product.
Yeah,
You're publicizing. It's not necessarily that we can guarantee that the publicity or putting you out in front of the public is actually going to get you a sale or a click to the website. We're just getting you the eyeballs. The process by which you take those eyeballs and then turn them into a paying customer is then your marketing and your sales process. And that's not necessarily the publicist's job. We're more
yeah.
brand awareness. We manage your reputation. Um, we tell you, please be quiet before you get canceled. We monitor trends for you and all of that, but we're not necessarily gonna be the process by which you hear the cha-ching into your bank account, but we help you to get the eyeballs that can help that happen.
That's so good. And it really reminds me of this book I read, Platform Get Noticed in a Noisy World by Michael Hyatt, because the assumption was, I know back in the day, that if you're a great author, you get a book deal, and then the publishing house does everything from there. You write the book and then the publishing house. So that's not even the case with the publishing house. Like, there's a level, a degree of work that you're gonna have to do. I'm sorry. I'm just coming off. I published the book launched in March 7th of 2023, but then I had to like find myself in 2024
Yeah,
because it was just so much work. But I'm saying there's a huge degree of work that you will have to do, and with signing with a publishing house. And so some publishing houses do give you a publicist for maybe like 6 months,
mhm,
but then after that you're on your own.
yeah,
And some publishing houses don't give a publicist at all,
no,
right?
you're right. There's sometimes where we have self-published authors that don't have a publicist. So we've talked to them or we've told them a DIY process. Sometimes if you go to like, a lower tiered publishing house, they'll help
Right.
you do everything, getting the book published. They'll talk to you a little bit about marketing, may throw you a graphic here and there, but there's no actual PR or marketing plan. And then as you get a little bit higher up, let's say you have a medium to larger size publishing house that actually has internal marketing for you. They have, and we're working on a project like that right now where they are phenomenal. They are doing everything for our client. However, we're still there because there's certain gaps where we're like, when it comes to certain outlets or publicity or influencers or people we want to do the reviews on the book, that's still something that the author is responsible for filling in those gaps, not the
Right.
publishing house. And so we still have to work as a team with the publisher to make sure the author is protected.
That's so good. And I think I don't know in terms of like publishing houses that don't deal with Christian work per se, but what I have experienced, and this is no fault to my publisher, and what I have heard is that there is also a gap in terms of reaching certain target audiences. For example, historically, let's just say that certain publishing houses know how to target books to, let's say, white evangelical Christian women between the ages of 35 and 45 living in suburbia very well. But then when I come on the scene or someone else comes on the scene and we're saying we're trying to target a different demographic, I have also heard and experienced that there's a gap there in terms of, well, how do we reach this particular segment of the marketplace? And so I'm just throwing it out there because I could definitely see a need to have an outside publicist that partners with an author to reach certain groups. I don't know if you want to speak to
Yeah.
that or not.
I mean, just think of it in the case of if you're let's just say you're just a Black author, and we worked with some really great faith-based publishing houses. The one that I was just speaking of, they specialize in, Christian publishing. They are awesome. We have those discussions where we talk about, like, okay, if we're going to go with some of these mainstream outlets, what's our messaging? We're still publicizing the book. It's still known that it's based in faith, but what are some of the other talking points that we can pull out with a hook that still gets you booked? People know that it's faith-based, but you're not necessarily just rah, rah, rah. And so we have those conversations. But as Black authors, sometimes, let's say you do get picked up by one of those middle to higher publishing houses, and the people in the room don't look like you.
Right.
So what I have found, and it's very sad, over my decade of doing PR, is that there are some brands, there are some organizations that really just don't put the value that is necessary into Black media. And so we advocate for our Black journalists, we advocate for Black media outlets. And when we are looking at those lists and we're on those calls, that's where we come in to supplement, because they're just not, it's not at the top of their minds to make sure that a Black author is in, Essence or Madame Noir, or make sure that if they're talking about something that's relevant to news, you've got to contact Roland Martin. Like, those are the people in the journalists where we come in and we're like, you're doing an excellent job. Let us reach out to our network, because those Black journalists matter. And so that's an example of how the publicist and the publishing house can work together and fill in those little gaps.
That's so good. That's so good. And I mean, I've even heard, people just don't know. They just don't know. Then, well, I did have one comment that was said to me by a publishing professional that when a certain author of color's book came out, they did pitch that author to some of the more Black media outlets, and they didn't hear anything back. And so the person says to me, it was a white woman, and she said, well, I don't know if they weren't Black enough, which I don't, that's what she said. But I don't know either. I don't know either. I know I have felt that for me, because when I was publishing or promoting my book, those opportunities didn't really open up for me. I don't know if behind the scenes they weren't pitched or they were pitched, or but I know that I was in a certain type of I was on certain types of podcasts, and certain types of media was offered to me, but then certain others, people of color, it wasn't. It was it
Well,
not in the yeah, go ahead.
yeah, PR is relationships. So when somebody is contacting a publicist, you're not really paying us for our skill set. You're paying us for the relationships,
For
because
access,
yeah,
access.
for access. Because we're going to sit down with you and we're going to say, great, we know X, Y, and Z. You want to, here's where you want to be covered. But let's just say you want to go on, a top tier show, that your talking points for that show versus what we would have sent to an Essence, to a Black Enterprise, wherever you want to, or to even to a Roland Martin to be featured, is going to be different. Each one is different. We're not sending the same email. We're not sending the same talking points. We know the outlets, and then we tailor the pitch to what in the hook to what they want to see or what that journalist covers. So if your publishing house doesn't have those relationships and they're cold pitching, and then they cold pitch the same pitch to everybody else, that is a primary reason why it's not getting picked up. Your publicist, 9 times out of 10, especially here locally in Dallas, I don't even really have to go through a formal process anymore. I just text them. Hey girl, I've got 3 great things. I know you're going into your pitch meeting tomorrow. Let me know when you have a quick 5 minutes for me to give you this rundown. I'll send you a recap via email, and then let me know which ones you want for your show. That's how I've gotten almost now in Dallas and with some other national outlets versus going through that formalized process. But that's 10 years of building a relationship. So if
Mhm.
you don't, you just have to be cognizant of it is a lengthy process, and I'm going to really have to sit down and study the outlet and study the journalist and change how I'm approaching them based off of how they cover, and you may
Mhm.
see a difference that way.
That sounds more like boutique a publicist experience, because I don't know that the publishing houses are able to do that. What I understand that they do is they put everybody on one press release with all of the talking points for all of those people, and then they send it out, and then whoever gets it, now they're eeny meeny miny mo, or we'll take this person, we'll take that person, we'll take this person. That's how I understand it to be happening, but I wouldn't know. But I had a lot of publicity though. I will say that with
And
my
they
book.
can, I think they do something like that, because this last publisher, they were saying like they send out a thing and it highlights the authors, and then they have another person internally in their department that will do that one-to-one pitching that I just talked about. But I think to your point, that's why this is important to know, because now if you are working with a publisher, now that you've heard both sides, you know what questions to ask. Because if they're
Mhm.
not going to give you that boutique service, which is so important, especially for booking the shows or the outlets that you really, really want, then now you know I'm either going to have to DIY it myself. So then you ask them, hey, can you just send me my press kit? And so that you can send it out yourself to that journalist or that news anchor or editor. Um, or you can hire a PR agency to, again, fill in the gaps.
That's awesome. That listen, yeah, if y'all didn't get that, you need to go back and rewind this video, because she just gave you like $1 million advice right there. Okay. What is one of the major mistakes that you see authors make when it comes to promoting their book? I'm scared because I'm like, I hope I didn't
Don't be
make them.
scared. Don't be scared. The most major mistake is timing. You
Mm,
have a book, you have your baby, you're excited, you're loading it up, or maybe your publisher's loading it up on Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, and Amazon, and all the places. And then you start promoting maybe a couple of months out. That's still not enough time.
yeah.
You really, your marketing and your strategy and your strategic process, if you're really wanting to attack this the right way, you really should have 8 months or more in planning, especially if you're wanting to do book tours and signings, and you're wanting to make Amazon's bestseller list or a hot new release list, or um, book clubs, and getting on in all these outlets. If you want to be in print, that's a longer lead time. So not only if I'm just doing a regular pitch to a magazine here in Dallas, and I know if I want to be in June issue, I need to start pitching them in March to make print, right? But now you're sending a book. You're not sending just a regular pitch. They've got to read the book. They need to know what it's about.
Ooh,
They're going to
I
want to talk
can-
to you. So now
this
you
is
got to
good.
give them time to read your book. So let's just tack on another 60 days so that they can have time to read the book. So now we're at 5 months for print publications and those that have longer leads, right? For them to read your book. And let's add on another hardcore fact is that a lot of these high profile journalists, so think of some of your NPR shows and stuff like that, they get hundreds of books. So maybe I want to tack in an extra month or so just due to the fact that I'm not the only one sending them stuff. So now I'm looking at, I'm getting you that 6 or 7 months ahead of my release date to give you time to get it. to read it, to thoroughly process, and then I'm going to send you into this follow-up chain so that I could potentially get booked. And a lot of authors I see is like they maybe will start that, a couple months out. And I've even seen people try to do stuff in 30 days. And I'm like, especially if it's your first book out the gate. And it just breaks my heart all the time because I'm like, you're about to release and you could have strategically ranked up the charts and took advantage of the algorithm, especially for Amazon. And because you did not time this right, you're most likely not going to get it. And so maybe for the next book, but it's probably not going to happen for this one.
Ooh, it's tight, but it's right. Y'all.
Yeah.
I'm telling she preaching. You are preaching. Listen, this is why I was so exhausted because I think I thought, okay, once I turn in my final manuscript, okay, I'm going to take a nap. But no, that's go time. Like, and actually before I turned in the final manuscript, because like you said, there's a lot of marketing that's taking place prior to the book being even finished or being released that you're doing to get the word out to, hey, this book is coming, it's about this, and it is so all consuming, and I was so exhausted. And one of the things I've realized just even being in business outside of the book is like you can promote, or tell people, and still run into people and they be like, oh girl, I didn't know you was doing that. And it'd be like, how you don't know? How do you not know? Because I feel like over here, all I'm doing is talking about it on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, to my email list, in my Facebook group. I'm just talking. People be like, child, I didn't even know you were doing that. So I think there's a disconnect between the what we're doing, the efforts that we're putting in, and it connecting with our ideal customer. Like, because life is happening for them, they're going to work every day, or little Jimmy got a soccer tournament, a basketball tournament, they got to cook dinner, they got to wash clothes, and then maybe they get on Instagram, and then maybe they get on Facebook, and then maybe they open your email. So we're thinking, oh, I'm saying it a lot, but not really.
No, I mean, even in that process, I just think about the authors that won't have a publishing house. And so
Right.
I've seen a lot of great publishing house. They'll take care of your graphics for you. They'll take care of the things that you need to post leading up to the book release. But for those that don't, this is all on you. And so it may be to your advantage, taking advantage of a service like with Fiverr or Upwork, or seeing if you can get an intern from a local college that can get all of this prepped for you, because this is what you're going to need to promote the book, whether it's you posting a quote from the book, or maybe you're getting on live and you have a banner of the book or something in the background and you're getting people hyped up and ready to buy, or whatever that ends up being. You have to have that process, and whether you have things to do or not, it just has to be done.
Right. Hey sis, I hope you enjoyed that interview snippet, and I want you to be sure and check out Entrusted Women University by visiting membership.entrustedwomen.com to see the interviews in their entirety. And join us next week for more content to help you on your writing and